The historic Bellefontaine Cemetery now holds 3 champions. And we're talking about champion trees, that is. That includes the American Elm, red mulberry, and shingle oak. And to tell us more about the Missouri State Champion Tree Program is Community Forester Mark Grueber. Because yes, when we say the Bellefontaine Cemetery has 3 champions, that could be misconstrued in a lot of ways. So
absolutely.
Let's talk about this champion trees. What is a champion tree?
It's a recognition program that the Department of Conservation has to recognize the largest trees of that species in the state of Missouri. And we've got about 120 recognized champions right now of approximately 150 to 160 species of native trees to the state of Missouri. So we recognize the biggest and greatest of each one of those.
The biggest and greatest. So we're looking at this. So Bellefontaine Cemetery, which is right here in St. Louis.
Yes.
Enormous history, very interesting history.
Absolutely.
But they've got then 3 state champions.
They
so
do.
tell me about them. What are we? Which one is? What are we looking at
the shot of the American Elm right now, and just prior to that was the shot of the red mulberry. The red mulberry, a lot of folks would probably say that doesn't look like too big of a tree, and when compared to something like that beautiful American elm, it really isn't. But it is the biggest one of its kind. Red mulberry is not a tree that doesn't grow very large, so. That's the site of the shingle oak, the state champion shingle oak. So one of the many oak species that grows here in the state of Missouri. And they're just, all 3 of them are big, beautiful trees in their own right.
And who knew they were at Bellefontaine? Oh, what is this one?
That's the red mulberry.
That's the red mulberry.
Again, yeah, kind of a bushy, low-growing, not very tall tree, but again, that's the biggest one of its kind.
The biggest one of its kind. And who knew that these are all at Bellefontaine Cemetery?
Well, believe it or not, there's kind of tree hunters out there, people that like to be the ones that find these biggest trees of their kind. But the cemetery staff, which was just pictured in that previous photo, did recognize a couple of them, the shingle oak and the American elm, and nominated those. And then a good friend of mine, as a matter of fact, who's an arborist, loves to visit the cemetery, which I would encourage everyone to do. It's a beautiful place. They encourage people to come and look. They actually are considered an arboretum and recognized as an arboretum as well because of the trees that they have there and how they care for them. But he was driving around up there and recognized that red mulberry tree and said, "Hey, that looks pretty big. I'm going to measure that."
I think that might be a state champion. Now let's talk about when it's not just height. It's
correct.
What's the criteria?
Correct. There's 3 different measurements that we take, and the first one is circumference or the diameter of the tree. We measure that at 4.5 feet off of the ground. That's a standard height, so we don't get that flare, as the tree trunk goes into the root system.
Right.
So if you give us a diameter measurement, we'll actually take and convert that into circumference, which is just the distance around. Then we also measure the height of the tree, and then we measure the average crown spread. So we'll take 2 measurements to see how wide the canopy of the tree is. And we total all those up in a number of points, and that's what we compare that to what the current champion is and see if it's the winner.
And we had talked about this a little bit before off camera, but does age have anything to do with it?
Age doesn't, because it's amazing how, some trees, given the site that they're growing in and some species, cottonwood's an excellent example. They can grow huge in a very, very short period of time because they just grow so quickly, where something like a post oak, which grows extraordinarily slow, could be hundreds of years old and not seem to be very big at all. So age does not measure into that.
And in the theme of today, since I was talking earlier about native Missouri plants or native Midwestern plants, all the trees that are submitted have to be native species. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. Species that are native to Missouri. Those are the ones that we recognize. There are a few on there that are considered naturalized. We are in the process of weeding those out.
Oh, really?
Because we don't really want to recognize trees that aren't indigenous to the state of Missouri.
Give me an example of a naturalized tree that's pretty popular, but people might not know.
A mimosa is one that's really popular. People really like the red flowers that it has, but it's a tree that was brought here from China, and it will escape and grow out into the woods. And as you talked about previously, that displaces the plants that are supposed to be there that insect and wildlife species rely on for their food and cover. So
no, I think this is really neat. I never knew that there was this program. So that there's because you drive by and you see trees that you have to imagine they have these, especially even right across the street from our studio in Forest Park.
You bet.
That have been around for hundreds of years. So this is really great.
Yep, there are 2 champions right now in Forest Park
For which ones are the?
The cucumber magnolia and the red buckeye are
Okay.
located in Forest Park.
Is magnolia a native tree?
The cucumber magnolia
Cucumber
is.
magnolia is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's neat. That's really great. Well, we've got the information for you to go check it out. The great thing about the fact that these specific 3 state champions are at Bellefontaine Cemetery is you can go and visit because, as Mark mentioned, they do tours all the time. They do a variety of tours at Bellefontaine Cemetery. You can also just go there as well. But for more information, why don't you head to MDC.mo.gov to learn more about the Champion Trees program and just do that, search the keywords for Champion Trees right there. And you can learn about the state champion program. And who knows, maybe now I might actually submit one. I'll keep my eye open. You never know. So, but thank you for being here. This is very fun, very interesting. All right, well, we'll be right back with more STL TV Live. But before we go to break, take a look at today's featured hot job brought to you by Slate and Missouri Workforce Development.